All right, before I do today's video, I have to spin the wheel for my July giveaway. And before I do that, I have two announcements for the August giveaway, which is live today. My cost for shipping and bottles and everything has gone up. So the threshold for me to spin 2 times of the wheel has to go up by like 50 bucks. So the threshold was $200, which I got that in the month of July. So I'll be spinning the wheel twice today. But going forward, I need to have at least $250 to continue to do the bottle shipment plus throwing in an extra bottle. So going forward, August until further notice, $250 for the threshold to get 2 spins. Also, in August, I don't have a true first Friday flight fight. So if you're interested in any of the samples from today's video, I might have very little left over, but we can work that out. My email is in the description below. It's underneath the rules. So if your name pops up, just let me know which 6 samples you would like from the month of July. And then the Lagavulin First Friday Flight Fight is automatically thrown in. If you're not a Scotch person, you can choose a previous month's First Friday Flight Fight, or you can just choose 12 2-ounce samples from the month of July. So I hope all that makes sense. Let's go ahead and spin the wheel and see who the winners are for July. And again, thank you very much for everybody that has participated over the past couple of months. It's been great. Let's see who the winners are. I know this thing clicks and comes to a stop, and then people kind of hold their breath, and it clicks once more. All right, we got Cash 3. I think this is your second time winning or third time winning. So let's go ahead and get this thing going again. And we'll spin the wheel a second time for a second winner. And again, my email is in the description below, fospete@yahoo.com. And second winner is going to be Steve Hicks. All right, so the top 2 contributors for this month, go figure, ended up getting selected. So 12 2-ounce samples of anything from July. If you are a Scotch person, you want the Lagavulin First Friday Flight Fight, that'll be thrown in there. If not, you can choose something from previous months. If I have it, I just mentioned all that. So congratulations to everybody. Steve and Cash, or Cashy, just send me an email and I'll get all the stuff shipped out for you as quick as I can. All right, on to the video. All righty, who is ready for part 2 of the Spirited Reviews WhiskeyTube Sample Swap? I know I am. If part 2 is as good as part 1, I am in store for a fantastic flight. If you're not familiar with what's going on, the last Friday of July, I did part 1 of a sample swap that I did with Spirited Reviews. They did a live stream with my sample swap that I gave them. And then since there are 4 guys on this channel, they sent me a whole bunch of samples and I had enough to do 2 flights. So this is going to be part 2 of that whole series. I have a link to all 3 videos in the description below. And since this is the first Friday in August, my August giveaway is also live starting today. All of the rules to that are in the description below. So I think I'm going to basically do the same thing that I did last time. I might throw out proof here and there, since I am a Whiskey Promiscuous channel and I already know that this is a spirited promiscuous flight. I'm going to try to attempt to identify what it is that I'm tasting, whether it's going to be a bourbon, a rye, a tequila, a rum. So this could be anything. I left the caps on because there's a lot going on as I was pouring it. I didn't want to be confused on things or the vapors that were coming out of the glass. So I'm just going to start with glass number 1 on my right. Last flight, I had 1 sample from Justin. And if you don't know, the 4 guys that are involved in Spirited Reviews, I always kind of have to get my vision correct because there's 4 boxes on their channel. And Randy is usually in the top left, Justin is in the top right, Norm is in the bottom right, and then Zach is in the bottom left. I've been corresponding with Zach through all of this, but I only had 1 sample of Justin in the last one. So right now I have Justin 4, Justin 1, Justin 3, Randy 2, Norm 1, Norm 3, Zach 1, and Zach 2. So I have a pretty good variety of samples here to go through. Holy cow. That hit my nostrils with a bunch of dark fruit. I didn't even get this thing up to my nose yet. Holy cow. Okay, so I'm going to go from right to left. I'm going to nose them all, give my initial impressions, what I'm getting, try to guess what it is, and maybe some proof. I know proof is very difficult to get through on the nose, but I'm going to attempt it. I've got my paper in front of me. I got my water off to the side. So let's get this thing going. All right. Yeah, this smells like dark fruit. Get some, I'm not a big cotton candy person, but this smells like cotton candy if cotton candy was made from dark berries. I also get a little bit of pine, and to me, pine always indicates that it could be a rye or a high rye bourbon. This smells absolutely phenomenal. It smells like Big League Chew, Hubba Bubba, some type of fruity bubble gum, cotton candy, but it's like on the darker side. Smells absolutely amazing and very sweet, very sugary. Not getting a whole lot of proof on the nose. 100 proof maybe? 100 proof? 50% ABV? I always get those two things confused. All right. Oh, I should probably write all that down. Give me a second. All right. Got that written down. Let's go to Justin 1. Oh, it's a little bit flat compared to glass number 1. This, to me, also smells like a rye. There's more of a spicy pepper note coming through. A little bit of a pine tree as well. Again, not a whole lot of proof, maybe around 100. So, Justin, maybe you gave me 2 ryes, somewhere around 100 proof each. And the difference is Justin 4 is very sweet, dark fruit notes. And this is just the opposite. It is not necessarily that sweet on the nose, and it comes across as pepper with maybe some amounts of pine way far in the background. So maybe 2 different types of ryes. All right, Justin 3. Oh, I got to write this stuff down so I remember. All right, Justin 3. Justin 3, not getting much. This has definitely been a progression of jumping out of the glass, not so much, and very muted. And again, this smells like pine. So I wonder if Justin gave me 3 ryes. A little bit more cinnamon forward, a little bit more oak presence in this one as well. Pine, oak, cinnamon, rye, 100 proof. Let me get that written down. All right, and let's move on to Randy 2. Randy 2. Holy cow, that is way intense fruit. That is insane. That kind of matches Justin 4, sample number 1, as far as the fruitiness goes. Very, very sweet. I mean, very sweet. My mouth is just gushing right now. I don't know if that's just a trigger of sugar, but yeah, that is insanely. There is some light fruit notes along with some dark fruit notes. Peaches, cherries, plums, pineapple, pear. Yeah, this is all over the place with the fruit notes. Sting in the nose just a little bit, maybe a little bit higher proof than the others. But I'm thinking maybe that they're all so far somewhere around like 100 proof. Yeah, this is insane how sweet this is. I really do like the fruit notes that are coming through here, and this is running the gamut of all the different types of fruits. I wouldn't say that there's any citrus in here. There's no spice whatsoever to identify. This is just all straight up sweet. And the first thing that I got the impression with this one is a bourbon. So maybe we're looking at 3 ryes and a bourbon, all somewhere around 100 proof. So let me get that written down, and we'll go to Norm number 1. Yeah, so for Randy 2, I just said bourbon, 100 proof, and it's just a fruit bomb. So let's go Norm number 1. Norm 1, very dark raisin. Norm, I think, is a Scotch guy. So I'm going to say that this is a non-peated Scotch of some sort. And I would say that it's going to be sherry just because of that dark raisin note. Yeah, this is a dark raisin because I think Norm is a single malt Scotch guy. I'm just going to say that this is single malt Scotch, sherry influence of some way, 100 proof. And this is a complete contrast of what I gave them. I think it was like the lowest proof that I gave them was 118.8, and everything went up from there. And I don't think Randy was very happy with me. He's like, come on, dude. At least you could have done something a little bit lower proof instead of just getting us hammered through the whole thing. And again, links to all of these videos are in the description below. If you are not subscribed to their channel, please do me a favor, go over to their channel, check it out. If you like what they're doing over there, subscribe to the channel. Let them know that I sent you over there. And I think they're doing a fantastic job. Again, 4 different guys have completely different perspectives on the things that they're tasting. They're well organized, and they do a really good job with their rating system. I just highly suggest that you go over there and check out their channel. They're good. I like what they're doing. All right, so Norm number 1, single malt Scotch, sherry influence of some sort, 100 proof. Let me get that written down, and we'll go to Norm number 3. All right, Norm 3. Norm 3 is spectacular. I am a huge peated Scotch fan, or peat in general, and this screams peated Scotch. That one's a no-brainer. Sting in the nose just a little bit, so I'm going to maybe up the proof a little bit, like 115, just because it stung the nose a little bit. And maybe that was the influence of the peat, just kind of doing a 180 from everything that I just had earlier. So tentatively, let's just go 115. And it is a single malt, since it's Norm, I'm going to go single malt, peated Scotch, 115. All right, now we're going on to Zach. Without giving too much away, Zach gave me some spirits that I wasn't a big fan of, or actually gave me a spirit that I wasn't the biggest fan of. So I'm thinking just by the color, I'm guessing that these are going to be in the same vein. And this is not my cup of tea. I know it's not tea, but yeah, this, I don't want to put it down right away because there's a familiar note in here. There is a wood bitterness. It is sugary, and there's a fruit note that is coming through here that I'm not quite positive what it is. Give me 1 second. And I'm trying to keep the lid on it because I don't want this to just consume the room because it is pretty strong. Not as strong as what I perceived as a peated Scotch, but there is a background note here that is familiar. A little bit of a vegetable note combined with like a fruit cocktail note. It's a combination of vegetables and fruit cocktail. Yeah, it is sugary, sweet. So I'm just going to by the color alone, and I'm not really familiar with a whole lot of tequilas. So I'm just going to say that that's a fruit cocktail tequila. And as far as the proof goes, not stinging the nose at all. So I have no idea what proofs tequilas come in. It looks like straight across the board. Maybe we're doing 100 proof again. So I'm going to say 100 proof fruit cocktail tequila with a little bit of a vegetable note. And that was Zach 1. And let's do the last one, and then we'll get to drinking. Ooh, wow. That caught me off guard. That, again, is a very, very strange note. I'm going to say tequila again. Very vegetal coming through there with a little bit of sweetness. And again, not the biggest fan of those notes. Yeah, just very astringent, alcohol forward, vegetal with a little bit of sweetness. I'm saying tequila again for this one as well. And then I'm going to write that down and let's get to tasting. Like, subscribe, share, do all those things that YouTubers ask you to do. If you're not a subscriber to this channel and you like what I'm doing, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, turn that bell notification on because I produce videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. All right, let's get that written down and get to tasting. All right, cheers, everybody. All right, wow, that is absolutely delicious. All of those fruity bubblegum notes are coming through with a nice layer of pine all the way through the palate. The proof, I'm going to still stick with 100 proof. I'm still sticking with a rye, and that is delicious. That is nothing more than a bunch of red fruits mixed together. Not very dark, so this isn't going towards like a dark raisin. This is all bright red berries, bubblegum, cotton candy, a little bit of spice, and that pine note is a nice, even note all the way through. That is really good. I like that quite a bit. Glass of water and move on to Justin number one. But I tell you what, even after that sip of water, the finish on that one is just going like crazy. That's one of the better ones that I've had in a while. Not just from their flight, just in general of what I've been drinking lately. That's a standout. I like that one quite a bit. All right, Justin one, sample number two. Get it on the palate. Oaky spice right up front, followed by a little bit of a cherry note. Those rye notes, I think, are still there. I'm still thinking that this is going to be a rye. Still sticking with the same amount of proof. It is not as vibrant, and maybe this is a detriment going from glass number one to glass number two. That always kind of happens in flights. They don't play off of each other nicely. This could be the best thing in the world, but coming off of this, it's not really showcasing what could be in the glass. I like this quite a bit, but it does seem a little bit muted compared to glass number one. Cherry, oak, spice forward. I'm still sticking with 100 proof and rye. Yeah, that's good, but not as good as glass number one. So far, glass number one is leading it. Let me get a glass of water, go on to glass number three. Hey, as glass number two was sitting, turned a little bit dry, turned a little bit bitter on the finish, but it's still good. So glass number three, this is Justin's third sample. And again, as I'm going from 1, 2 to 3, they're becoming less and less vibrant. Get a little bit of chocolate on the nose on this one. I don't think I got chocolate last time. But yeah, still there's those subtle pine notes or a pine note. So rye, 100 proof, spice forward, cinnamon. Now add chocolate to it. Let's get it on the palate. Cinnamon, oak, spice, a little bit of bitterness. That tannin is sinking down underneath my tongue as it's going from the mid palate to the finish. It's becoming very dry. I am still sticking with 100 proof. I'm saying that it's a rye. And in order, I would say, oh, there's that bubblegum. There's like a burst of, that took a long time. There is a burst of bubblegum, cotton candy, Hubba Bubba, Big League Chew, any kind of cherry, strawberry type of gum. That took quite a while for that finish to show up. I actually think I like this one more than glass number two, but not nearly as good as glass number one. All right, let me get my thoughts down on that one and then get a glass of water, clear my palate a little bit. This finish is lingering. I don't want to stop. So I'm going to sit here for a second. That finish is rather long. All of those chocolate notes are starting to escalate. A little bit of spices lingering. That dry note is, I would say it's no longer there. And that sweetness on the finish, whatever type of bubble gum you want to put this in as far as a category, I think it's all there. There's a little bit of cinnamon red hot along with strawberry. So like like Big Red, Big League Chew, Hubba Bubba, Bubblicious. Those are all kind of there along with a good chocolate note. Yeah, I think this one shines on the finish, which is escalating it over glass number 2. That's good. All right, glass of water, rinse my palate, move on to Randy 2, the Fruit Bomb. Not Randy, I'm not calling Randy a fruit bomb. I'm calling Randy's sample a fruit bomb. All right, sample 4. Holy cow, that's just, yeah, that is just a fruit bomb. All right, can't wait to get this thing on the palate. Cheers, everyone. Huh, that's a little bit disappointing. I get a sulfur note. It is pepper spicy. All of those fruit notes that I'm getting on the nose are not coming through on the palate. That sulfur note, to me, sometimes indicates like a sherry finish. And I think I said this was a bourbon, 100 proof with a fruit bomb. I think this might be finished just because of that sulfur note. I'm still sticking with bourbon. I think it's still 100 proof, but it's more spicy than it is fruity on the palate. Oak and wood tannin and bitterness sinking underneath the tongue. I like this on the nose more than I do on the palate. It's still good, but there's something a little bit off with that sulfur note. So maybe some sort of sherry finished bourbon. That would be my guess. Let me get my thoughts written down, get a rinse of water, and move on to what I think is now starting to move into the Scotch and tequila realm. So I'll be right back. All right, norm number 1. Yeah, I said single malt Scotch, some sort of sherry influence. So let's get it on the palate. I think there is a little bit of smokiness coming through on that, but not peat. But there is a strong influence of a dark red raisin. I would think based on how it is smelling, I thought it was going to be a little bit more viscous, a little bit more sticky. And this is very thin as far as viscosity goes. Glides across the tongue, doesn't really develop into anything. It is the same consistent flavor, that dark raisin note from arrival to mid-palate to finish. Glides over the tongue. The notes do stick around, but the liquid itself seems to be very thin. ABV, 50%. I'm thinking everything is about 100 proof. So I'm sticking with my original gut feeling that this is a single malt Scotch, some sort of sherry mature or sherry finish. And there is a smokiness without being peated. And the liquid itself, not very sticky, not very viscous, a little bit thin. But those notes are lingering around. Let me get a rinse of water before I dive into this one and the last 3. All right, high hopes for this one, Norm. Yeah, definitely peat. And it's a savory peat, more on the smoked meat side of things. All right, let's get it on the palate. Oh yeah, that is right up my alley. Dark peat notes, sweet, savory, smoked meat. There is a good amount of vanilla. There is char, there's oak. It is a flavor bomb. You have to be able to get through the peat in order to get to the vanilla. It's good and peppery on the back end as well. And just like glass number 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like glass number 5, there is a smoky note to it that's not peat. Maybe that's a barrel char note that's coming through. So there is a good combination. This is balanced really well. There's a barrel charred note along with the sweet, savory smoked meat aspect of it. Get behind that, you get a good vanilla note. And on the finish, it kind of drifts into a campfire smoke. I like that quite a bit. Standouts so far, glass number 1 and glass number 6 are really good. I do need to let my palate calm down a little bit for this one. So I'm going to organize my notes, have my palate rest a little bit, get a rinse of water, and then we will finish off with the next 2. So I think that's going to be a sufficient enough time for my palate to calm down so I can now move on to the last 2. All right, Zach 1, I'm thinking this is tequila. Yeah, that's just straight up vegetable and a sweet fruit. All right, get it on the palate. All right, That's not terrible. Fruit cocktail, sweet vegetables, a lot of sugar, kind of a smoky note. I'm still sticking with tequila. That is drinkable. This has some depth to it, some complexity to it. It seems to be an easy sipper, and I do like the sweetness mixed in with the vegetal notes. That's actually really good. I can see myself sipping on this one quite a bit. All right, let's go ahead and get a rinse of water, move on to the last one, and then do the reveal. All right, last one. Here we go. Ooh, completely different than glass number 7. Okay, there we go, on the palate. I'm hesitating because I don't know if I'm going to like this one. So, on the palate. All right, that is definitely not for me. There is a smoky, musty, bitter vegetable note that is not pleasant to the palate. I'm saying tequila again. I don't think any of these, with the exception of this, I think they're all sitting somewhere around 100 proof. Yeah, that's the last one is just a little bit too bitter for me. That smoky note along with a bitter vegetable note. I don't want to knock it, but it's not for me. All right, so before I go on and do the reveal, I'm actually thinking, based on what I had in part 1, I might like this flight slightly better. Not a whole lot better, but I think what I have in here is more diversified. I don't think there were very many repeat tasting notes from glass to glass. I think some of the other glasses in flight number 1 were very similar to each other, but I like the versatility of this one. So really quick, I would say that this is 100 proof rye. So I think it's rye. Is this a rye or is this a brown? I think these are 3 ryes. I think this is a finished bourbon, single malt scotch, peated sherry. No, I think this is a single malt scotch with a sherry matured or finish. This is a peated scotch. I don't really know if there is very much finishing to this one. It might just be straight up a bourbon cask. And then these 2 are tequilas, and I think they're all somewhere around 100 proof. Nothing really ever lit up my palate. Now, if you saw the previous video, you know that I already opened up the envelope and I folded back the paper because I didn't want to give anything away on flight number, what I think was flight number 6. So let me go ahead and get the envelope again. Already opened, of course. And let's see what Zach and the guys had in store for me this time. So blind number 6, J4. So Justin Ford, 2023 Michter's 10-year rye. Justin, thank you very much. I have never had anything from Michter's other than their standard release. The Michter's American, like US 1, the American whiskey, and the Michter's rye. I've always wanted to get my hands on a Michter's 10 of any sort, and dude, thank you. This is amazing. This one was really good. I think this was the standout for me in the entire flight. That may have been my favorite. So thank you very much. Justin 1. So his second sample, Remus Repeal 8. So Remus Repeal Reserve 8. I have that bottle. I think I like Remus Repeal 8 and 6 the most from their lineup. I have 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm waiting for 9 to come out. And I do think that 6 and 8 were the ones that I liked the most. And that is really good. I appreciate that one as well. And then Justin's third sample. Oh, okay. This is only the second or third time that I've had this one. Hard Truth Double Oaked Rye. So rye. Oh, so it's rye, bourbon, rye. Okay. The Hard Truth was given to me by Josh over at Stuff and Whiskey. I have a couple of samples of that thrown into my blind sample pool. Everything that I've had from them has been good. I don't know if that is my favorite as far as a as a rye goes, I'm not the biggest rye fan, but I can see myself sipping on that one. But I think I've had ryes that are a little bit better, but still really good. Now we're looking at, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't pick that out. So Randy's second sample, glass number 4. This was Yellow Spot. Gosh darn it, I should have picked up on Irish, but I didn't. I'm shocked that I did not pick up on that being an Irish. So Norm, Bunnahabhain. So Bunnahabhain, I don't even know how to pronounce this. Steer reader? Have no idea how to pronounce that one. But Bunnahabhain is a Islay unpeated Scotch. And I got smokiness out of this, but not peat. So I wonder if there's some sort of peat in this one. But definitely for me, it came out as a sherry. And then Norm 3, okay, Ardbeg, Eureka. Is this a committee release? Is this a new release? I'm not familiar with the Eureka, but that was delicious. I would have to say the Michter's 10 and the Eureka were my 2 favorite from this. Yeah, those were good. And then Zach 1, Magenta, Maestro Selection number 1 Blanco. I think Blancos are tequilas. And then Cinco Centavos Pechuga de Mol Poblano. I have mezcal. So this is a mezcal. I am not a Spanish speaker. I can barely speak English. And I'm sure I butchered all that. So hopefully as I went through the tasting and I popped the bottles up, you got some information from those. Man, guys, I tell you what, this has been a lot of fun. I've been enjoying the sample swaps that I've done with Carlos Garcia and now Spirited Reviews. If you are still here and watching this, please do me a favor. It's something that I'm trying to get started on YouTube. I would like other YouTube creators to get involved, or WhiskeyTube, get involved and do some sample swaps with people. I think it just adds a different variety to the standard reviews that people do. So if you have a favorite YouTuber, reach out to them, ask them to do sample swaps either with me or with other YouTubers, and that you would like to see an interaction between. It's just a whole lot of fun, and it's interesting to see the samples that are swapped with one another, kind of the direction or their mindset of where they think a flight should go. So I think just all around, it's an interesting concept or an interesting idea to try to do. And I hope you're in the same mindset that I am. I hope you've enjoyed this. I'm looking forward to do a little bit more, and I'm hoping to see other YouTubers follow suit. So wherever you are at in your journey, I hope you're enjoying it. Until the next time, we'll talk to everybody later. Bye.